right, so this is going to be another movie review. This one's called A Christmas Carol, 1984. I'm giving it 4 out of 5 stars. I liked it, but I didn't like it as much as the older versions. It's a television movie that was filmed in jolly old England, and George C. Scott has this fake Brit accent, and he came off as very, very wooden, and I think he only got animated a couple times when he saw his own death, and when he realized that he was still alive afterwards, when he got beamed down from the Grim Reaper. The Grim Reaper looks pretty cool, and whenever the Grim Reaper points his finger like this, you hear this screeching noise like metal yard. It's like listening to Skin Chamber. Pretty cool. And then you've got the ghost of Jacob Marley. Looks pretty grim looking too, dark and grim. This movie is more dark and grim, I think. Partly because it's in color, unlike the other two, which were black and white. But Jacob Marley has his jaw shut. He ties around this ribbon around his head to keep his jaw shut when he's not talking. And, pretty cool looking chains. Ugly looking makeup. If I was 5 years old, I'd probably get freaked out by this. But it is a PG movie. And it's got David Warner, Michael Gough, Susannah York. Pretty decent cast, I must say. I didn't particularly care for Scrooge complaining about paying taxes, but as if that's going to accomplish anything. Really, the taxes go to the administrators, just like when you give money to the Catholic Church. But at least government is the worst at stealing other people's money and giving it to using force, legal plunder to rob one group and give to another group. I guess that's what the ghost of Christmas Present is complaining about. He either thinks that taxes aren't too high or people have to give to charity on top of their taxes, unlike what Scrooge believes. Once he pays taxes, he's done. He doesn't have to give to charity. Which is a smarter way of dealing with money, I think. I think I like Scrooge's way of dealing with money, not from a humanitarian standpoint, but from a purely practical standpoint. And like I said in my first review of the Alistair Sim A Christmas Carol, which is better than this, I think. Being a miser in and of itself is not a bad thing, but I think he's just dismissing Christmas too much. And, this movie's long. It's an hour and 40 minutes. It has a lot of similarities to the 1938 version with Reginald Owen. And it's very long, though. It's about 31 minutes longer than the Reginald Owen version, and it's hard to say which one is closest to the Dickens story, because I've never read the Dickens story. Never interested me, but I'd say the movies are pretty decent overall. And I don't know. Like I said, it's a television movie, so it's kind of it's got that television movie feel to it. The Ghost of Christmas Present is a big, tall, hairy dude. Kind of interesting. And the Ghost of Christmas Past is another woman. So even the Ghost of Christmas Presents has a tremendous presence on screen. No pun intended. And I don't know. I just couldn't get into it as much as the other two movies. The 1938 version had me crying with all the religious stuff going on. And the 1951 version, just Alistair Sim was the reason to watch. He just blew me away as Scrooge. I agree with Professor Quiz. George C. Scott is not as good as Alistair Sim, or even Reginald Owen. But I still enjoyed it overall. I thought it was fun. Tiny Tim is kind of a horrible actor. Where did they hire Tiny Tim to mutter a few lines? He only has a few lines, and he blows every single one of them. And my son was talking about a passage in his children's Bible, the watered-down Catholic children's Bible, how they changed the words from saint to all of God's people. It's kind of I told him that's kind of the attitude of Tiny Tim. Tiny Tim says, God bless everyone, even Mao Zedong and Joseph Stalin. As if there's no evil in the world on Christmas Day. Well, that's an interesting take on things. Just like Dickens is kind of equates being a miser with being anti-Christmas. I guess that's the extreme form of being a miser. You don't even celebrate Christmas anymore. Anyways, Dickens chose the most extreme form of miser to redeem himself, and it's a pretty decent idea, I guess. I'm not opposed to it as much as I was when I was younger, and I absolutely hated the story. Didn't care too much for Christmas songs either. But cool. It was all right. You get a lot more background into Bob Cratchit family, similar to the 1938 Reginald Owen version. So a lot of similarities, but I think the Reginald Owen version was tighter, and it got straight to the point. This one kind of veers off, especially with the anti-tax Scrooge complaining about paying taxes, and that the spirit's stupid answer, which is not enough. I'm not sure if the spirit wants the British government to take another 2 pounds of flesh from Scrooge, or he just wants Scrooge to shell out his after-tax pounds, shillings, and whatever Brit money. to charity. But either way, it's kind of a dumb thing to say. Not very convincing. And one more thing, George C. Scott, throughout the whole Spirit saga, is very he sticks to his anti-Christmas principles very much throughout most of the movie. So the redemption part is much shorter. And this one that's the only difference that I can think of. Besides the high production values and the great looking spirits and ghosts. So, didn't have any bonus features. I'm thinking this director's cut of Christmas Evil, which I'm about to watch, is going to have a ton of bonus features. Because it is a director's cut, so it's got to have something on there. I'm thinking. But I got through Christmas Carol section of my Netflix queue. Let's see what's coming down the pike. Pull up my Netflix queue. Oh, by the way, Adrian just bought the Omens film series quadruple feature. So I added 2 and 3 to my Netflix queue. I deleted Martin Scorsese again. I don't mind deleting Martin Scorsese. I can add him back later. It's not like I'm deleting it forever. So don't worry, Adrian. Okay, so I said 4 out of 5 stars. I didn't like it as much as the other 2. But I still thought it was pretty decent. Not bad. It's about the same as It's a Wonderful Life, I think. Okay. Now, I might get Chinatown, but probably not. I'll probably get A Christmas Story, The Church, and Citizen X. 1995. The Church is 1989. Adrian asked me that question. Christmas Story, 1983. And that's what I got coming down the pike. All right. Did my son just give me a thumbs up? No. He's on TikTok. Somebody give me thumbs up. Cool. I haven't heard from Karate Man. I guess he's upset that I didn't review Cracker Jack instead of slogging through all these chopped sake jukes that Adrian mentioned. The good news is that I'm on episode 9, so hopefully I can get through a bunch of those, get up to like 15 or something, more than halfway through. And, by Thanksgiving, I can get to Cracker Jack. I'll show you my other list that I have. Movies on YouTube, unless they've been taken down recently. Which is known to happen with a bunch of Karate Man recommendations, by the way. A lot of them have copyright issues, but okay. So I've got chopped sake jukes. I already mentioned that one. Cracker Jack. Then there's the Shark Hunter. Blake 7. Got a couple of those. Blood and Lace. The 1971 AIP slasher movie. One of the early ones. Then Stone Cold 2, a.k.a. Stone Cold 2, Heart of Stone, a.k.a. Back in Business, Brian Bosworth. Then I got Bates Motel, 1987. And what else? Omen 4, The Awakening. So I've got 2 and 3 on Netflix, and then 4 on YouTube. That's it. That's the end of my review. I won't say highly recommended or check it out, but interesting take. A little bit boring. I couldn't get into George C. Scott's wooden acting. I have to agree with Professor Quiz that it wasn't as good as Alistair Sim later's